Hail Internet, it's Paul, it's Matt, the Dork Lords. Today, we're talking about the Season 1 finale of Alien Earth, the episode entitled The Real Monsters. We open with the adult xenomorph sneaking around the island, notably seeking out Arthur's corpse and Dame, who is leaving flowers on the graves of the children that she helped kill. I think part of that is just to show us where Arthur's corpse is for later. But it also might be a hint that in communicating with Wendy, the xenomorph sees Arthur and Dame as Wendy's parental figures and thus not prey, perhaps. Anyway, it was just interesting that those were the two figures it seeks out. We end with Octocritter escaping and finding Arthur's corpse on the beach, just where we saw him in the opening scene. So Octo now has a human body to manipulate. Wendy and the Lost Boys now rule the island, their Neverland. They have imprisoned Boy Cavalier, Dame, Morrow, a damaged Kirsch, the lead security officer whose name escapes me, and Adam, who turned out to be a synth that Boy Cavalier made at age 6 to kill his own father. At least that's the implication. Joe is not imprisoned. Wendy forgave him for shooting Nibs. Wendy calls her two xenomorphs to her, and they prepare for an assault by a Yutani strike force. End the season. All that said, Paul.
Matt.
What'd you think of the Season 1 finale of Alien Earth?
Yeah, I liked it. I liked Wendy slash... I guess she's not Wendy anymore, though. She says she's not Wendy. So, yeah, I liked her taking over and, causing havoc. And I'm glad that Slightly got to knock out Morrow, and Joe got to knock out Boy Cavalier there. And and it's as I would have expected, Cavalier being perhaps a little delighted that he, is in the position that he is. Probably sees it as a challenge. So yeah, we're glad we got the battle between Kirsch and Morrow, and while I might have had more sympathy for Kirsch, Morrow, yeah, I do like Morrow,
That fight was pretty visceral. It was a fun melee combat with kind of some pro wrestling moves because they're augmented.
Yes.
I was surprised that, considering the size of this cast,
yes,
and then also the mayhem and danger ensuing, that there were 0 main character deaths in this episode. I mean, the red shirts essentially got dinged.
Yes.
But
looking at the list here, it's Siberian who died, who we hadn't seen for many episodes, and I don't think they did all that much work to make you think how's the show going to be different now that Siberian isn't part of the show?
Right. If you hadn't have said the name, I wouldn't have known the name. But yes.
I had to look at it. I was like, oh, that looks like her.
R.I.P. Yeah. She was the one that was taken up by a plant monster. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Plant monster makes its attack. We're
yes.
like, oh, that's how it kills things.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll say this just up front. I looked this up as we record this. Season 2 is still in doubt.
Okay.
I saw an article that mentioned they'll make an announcement in probably November. It seems to be dependent on viewership numbers, so we'll see.
Okay.
But,
interesting.
But it's they're not saying like, oh, we don't know if it's. They sound positive, but they would, I think, until they say no, we're not doing it. So tough to know. But yeah, hopefully there's a season 2 on this.
Yeah, just
Big
today I noticed
obviously.
that. I think I'd sent you a previous story that Sigourney Weaver had started the series, and I saw a note that she had finished it and was really impressed with it. So yeah, you got Sigourney Weaver on your side. It'll be unfortunate if they don't decide to continue. Most of the critical response I've seen has been positive.
Yeah, the critical response has been very positive. I think the viewership response has been less positive, but still overall net positive. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It was interesting that our Lost Boys decide to be ghosts. As like, what do ghosts do? They haunt houses.
Yes.
So they just had to scare the humans as essentially poltergeists.
Yes.
including pretending the elevator has a self-destruct sequence, which was funny. But so it shows their power, but it also does show a little bit of their lack of empathy, right? Like they're toying with the humans a bit, which it's this show. I think it leads us. The point of this cliffhanger, it seemed to me, was to say that Wendy has flipped the script. She's like, now she finishes. Now we rule.
Yes. So
is that a good or a bad thing? I feel like that might be a bad thing, frankly. But there are bad people coming to them, so all right, they're the good guys. But there's a lot of moral ambiguity around. Is it a good thing for them to rule? Essentially, I also feel like Hawley has set Wendy up as apparently pretty overpowered. She can control all the electronics. She can control all the synths. I assume that includes Kirsch when he's no longer, incapacitated. Maybe the other Lost Boys as well. I don't know that they even brought that up, but can she control them? Whatever. She can control certainly Adam.
Right. I feel like, they did early distinguish her from the other synths in that she can hear the aliens. However, either these other synths will have other abilities, or I don't see that there's, what could stop the others from getting a similar ability there. And, I feel like give Boy Cavalier just the barest access to the system, and he can probably start to shut out Wendy. It's certainly like... it's like, they connected Wi-Fi, so, she was able to stop Adam, and so she would have a similar effect on Kirsch.
Install Wi-Fi password.
Yes.
Password asterisk. All right, there we go. Yeah. Now we're fine. But just to say, I feel like season 2 would then start to show, like, okay, well, what would be considered her weaknesses? And I don't know that there is one, except to say that I think the only thing keeping her from being maybe full-on OP supervillain is Joe. I feel like he's her connection to humanity. If she was full-on, like, humans are our enemies, kill them all.
They could have, even though it's Earth, they still could have enacted the same solution that they did in Aliens, where they nuke the island for more.
Yeah, nuke the island.
And that would kill her.
One would think.
She actually didn't. Even though she beat the alien, she can clearly be hurt. The same way.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
Hurt. So she's not all powerful.
Toodles, Isaac, obviously got face melted.
Yes, exactly.
So yes, you're right. They're not impervious. Yes. To add to her powers, it seems like she can communicate telepathically with the xenomorph. Or, when she was calling it, she called it from miles away.
Right.
Like, it was outside the base, and she called it into the... I'm like, okay. Yeah. So that's an extra power as well.
Yeah,
but just
maybe
to say...
she just, took the speakers that were throughout the island.
That's true. But just to say, they've set her up as, if she's going to be an opposing force, a fairly formidable opposing force to something. Sure. And usually in a storyline, you make the villain seem more powerful than the hero, and then it's like, oh, how can they survive? Here, you're like, the Yutani forces, you're like, good luck, enjoy. So it's interesting. I'm just saying, I'm not sure how that manifests itself.
Yeah, I'm not sure that we're supposed to view her as a hero. So.
Right. I think you're right.
Maybe Joe is the hero, and
maybe that's the.
He's thinking more about what she's doing. The fact that that they're honest. It's like, what's the end game for her? She is a child, so what does she want besides?
That was the most important
rule?
Conversation. That was the most important conversation in this episode, was the whole, like, they're honest. Because there was a lot going on there.
Yeah.
She starts by berating Joe for siding with the humans.
Yes.
She says, like, are you saying Nibs isn't people? Maybe you should call me it. But then, by the time the conversation ends, and she's talking about, I really like the aliens because they're honest. And then Joe calls them predators. It's a funny reference. And then he says, we're food to them.
Yes.
And she replies, no, you're food to them.
Right. Yes.
Which eventually throws a wrench in the whole, like, aren't we people? Are we the same?
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, no, actually, you just pointed, you made my point. Yeah, you see yourself as different for good reasons. So if I had to theory craft like an arc, I think the idea is to have more than just season 2. So maybe this is like a more whole story arc. But I think Joe would eventually come to terms with the knowledge that Wendy is not his sister and ultimately betray her to save humanity. I think that's kind of where that might end up going. Like, I realize this, okay, you are, you're worse actually for the planet than Boy Cavalier and Yutani. So I don't know. I'm just saying that might be a way that's going, because there's obviously setting up some kind of he does not have the same rah let's go quality that the Lost Boys all do.
Oh yeah.
He's like, so how does that play out?
Right.
And he's in, he's only out of prison by her good graces in this moment. Like, she's like, you know what? Okay, you talked me into it. I was gonna just leave you in prison with Morrow because, you betrayed the synths, but you're forgiven. Okay, well, how many times can he do something that she feels is like maybe not towing the line before she's like, you're not forgiven? I don't know. Anyway, I feel like that's where that's headed.
It could be. It could very well be. I mean, it's possible that I think another possibility is Jane or Nibs even starting to, she really seems like even more of a Kurt's sort of influence, really.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, Wendy isn't very sympathetic, but, if she really starts to go crazy, who knows? That reminds me of sort of Taps, so Nibs would be the Tom Cruise character, and maybe Wendy would be the, Timothy Hutton character, who ultimately sees, oh no, ultimately she would have to save Joe, maybe, and then she would sacrifice herself to do that.
Right, right.
For me, we, wherever we end up when the story ends, this is all taking place before, the first Alien movie. So,
where as far as we know, synths have not taken over the planet.
Right. I feel like we don't hear about Cavalier. We still hear about Yutani or whatever. Yutani, yeah. So, maybe it's like, none of these specimens survived. We're going to have to get another one.
Yeah, good point. Oh, right. That would be like the post-credit or something.
Yeah.
All right, send out a team.
They get some digital representation of John Hurt. And, he's walking past all these people on his way to the ship that takes Sigourney away.
Yeah. No, that's interesting. Yeah, you could, in other words, lead it right up to what would be the beginning of Alien. Yeah. That's a cool idea. We didn't get the Dame Corpse of Arthur reunion.
Correct.
All we basically got was Octo manipulates the corpse and sits up, and that's basically all we get. Like that's obviously, I would say, an early season 2 of plot that's coming is Corpse of Arthur meets up with Dame, and whatever. And Boy Cavalier has a conversation with Octo, being able to vocalize now that he's in a body. Right. But I kind of wanted to see that this season, but so be it. Leaving me wanting more.
Yeah. The octopus wasn't all that conversant in the previous human host.
Right. Yeah, great point.
So, maybe it just takes a while or something. Who knows?
I was correct in assuming that Boy Cavalier wanted to put Octo into Joe. So he tries that, but Wendy comes and saves the day.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, first, though, he considers the other guys, like, how do you feel about your eyes?
Yeah.
That's the problem. It's like, he'll lose one eye.
Yep, that's it. That's the only downside.
Yeah.
Adam has a funny line. He has kind of a big monologue where he's like basically saying, I tried to warn Boy Cavalier not to do this thing
Yes,
with
yes,
putting
yes.
kids' brains into adult bodies.
Yes.
And part of his rant was an eternity of "Are we there yet?" which I liked. I also liked it was a basically an Easter egg, a throwback quote. But at the time I was like, "Why does that sound familiar?" And it took me a second. And by the end of the episode, I was like, "Oh, of course."
Not Tolkien. Is it?
What's that?
Not Tolkien, is it?
It wasn't. It's not a Tolkien reference.
Oh,
it
phew.
should be.
Ah,
Damn it. Maybe hang on, Paul. Let me go back. Let me find a Tolkien reference. This was one of the soldiers. Again, the guy whose name eludes me, but the kind of the leader of the soldier group. It says "Stay Frosty."
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an Aliens throwback.
Yep, it is.
So anyway, since they're both military, maybe there's a suggestion that's like a common parlance at that time.
Yeah.
You know, "Stay Frosty."
Sure.
I was like, oh, we get a Wendy's. Oh, okay. It obviously set itself up for there's mayhem to come.
Yes.
Most likely in episode 1. I don't know, somewhere very early in season 2, you're going to have Yutani lands on the island and regrets it immediately. And terrible things happen to them. And then they have to regroup. And meanwhile, rule is still established on the island. You still have all these conflicting personalities, even as you put it, even in the Lost Boys, but particularly with things like Morrow and Kirsch and Boy Cavalier and Dame, who's now going to have this corpse of her husband that she probably feels guilty about. All that stuff is there, which would be playing throughout season 2. And then, of course, the relationship between Wendy and Joe.
Yeah.
And then in some ways, it's almost like the alien is almost an afterthought. It's not an afterthought, but it is like this show is so much more than a critter running around killing everything.
For
sure. So, I mean, I think to good effect, but it is interesting. There's like, oh yeah, right, there's an alien. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're not there. Otherwise, you'd be discovering it just like, oh, there's drool on me. There's an alien.
I'm gonna have to give myself a little credit, Paul, that if I walked into a room and it was filled with eggs that were like the size of my torso.
Yes.
And those eggs started to open.
Yes.
And there was this little like blur, slush coming out of it, and it's like a little leg coming out. I'd be like, okay, I'm out of here. I'm not going to get closer. I'm not be like, I wonder what's coming out of this egg. I'm really no, get out. I feel confident in my own instincts to say,
interesting.
Get the F out of here.
Interesting. That doesn't, save you from any slugs that would be descending from the ceiling.
Right. The plant critter gets me. The flies.
Yeah.
I'm not. I would. I can't outrun these things. No. I'd be in real trouble there too. Yeah. No. Agreed. I'm screwed. I'm just not gonna be screwed.
So really, it's just like those guns are good. Just put it to your temple and just take yourself out.
While I'm feeling kind of some kind of hubris about myself for having outwitted the eggs. That's where in that moment I go, oh God, the flies! Damn it! My eye now has an octopus in it.
Yeah.
So I guess there's also the interesting, maybe if they want to go at that route, what's the difference between the adult xenomorph hanging around with the little kid xenomorph? Is there something there, like a familial thing with them or whatever? Anyway.
Like Courts of Betty's father. People, let me tell you about my best friend.
But I guess it's interesting partially too because why bother having two different ages of xenomorphs unless you have some reason to have like, oh, there's a difference.
I mean, they grow up pretty quick, so
they do. Yeah, by the time season 2 starts, they're fine. They're adults.
It's like season 2. Whoa, what's the difference? I don't even know.
All right, we are going to be back. At the moment, we have seen on the schedule that there is a show called Pluribus, a sci-fi concept show coming on Apple TV, which of course brought us Severance. So I'm interested to see what kind of sci-fi premise we have here. But yeah, if you out there in YouTube land have some other ideas for shows that are coming up in the very near future that you'd like us to take a shot at, feel free to put them in the comments.
Yeah, the creator of this series from Breaking Bad. So
Oh, very nice. I didn't even know that.
That's
awesome.
a good sign.
Yep. So yeah, thank you as always, Paul. Appreciate it, good sir.
No problem.
And we'll talk to everybody next time. Bye.